Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. For new viewers, please subscribe. That would be so cool. Um I'm so corny, but I have to say it. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so appreciative that you're on this journey with me. I started out my YouTube channel and my Instagram as my public therapy. I called it kind of haphazardly, but it has become that and then some. So I greatly appreciate you all coming on this journey with me, and we're all healing together. It's incredible. It's awesome. I'm like getting choked up. Anyway, so today I'm going to speak about sabotage from your narcissistic parents. How they intentionally inhibit you from succeeding. They will thwart your efforts to do well in life, to excel, to achieve things. um it's kind of, when you look at them for what they are, it's kind of common sense, but because we are victims of them, this is something that's like too close for us to see. You know, when something's too close, you can't see, what is that phrase? You can't see the forest through the trees. It's like right in your face, so you're kind of oblivious to it. And also, we've been living this our entire lives. So it's just the way it is, for children of narcissistic parents. So I want to speak today about how they do intentionally sabotage you. Your narcissistic parent will hold you back, hold you down, try to instill an inferiority complex in you. It's disgusting. All of it is horrifically disgusting. But, I'm speaking from my own experience and feedback from tons of incredible people on Instagram as well. So I recently did a post about how our narcissistic parents have deliberately sabotaged us or held us back. And this is very much a thing. I'm telling you right now, like, you've probably, like me, speculated, like, this doesn't feel right, or, it sure feels like they're not, they've not never supported us, so that's a given. But for them to intentionally, deliberately get in our way from succeeding, it's like that's some next level stuff. And it's so hard to fathom that your parent would do, even when it's legitimately happening to you, it's still hard to wrap your head around. So, and it sure as heck is just, like, people on the outside, people that have not experienced this, would never, like, they'd be like, oh no, like, they would gaslight the crap out of you if you tried to bring this to anyone else's attention. If you said, yeah, I think my mom or my dad or whatever, I think they're like really standing in my way from succeeding, somebody on the outside would be like, oh, you're crazy. Like, because normal, genuine, decent human beings, like, this is preposterous. But when you have a narcissistic parent, rest assured, all they think about is themselves and their own self-interest. And narcissists, they're so broken and damaged that they have a horrible inferiority complex themselves, which is why they construct this, false persona to the outside world, because they hate themselves so much and they have so much self-doubt, inferiority, poor self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, all of that in order to protect themselves, they have developed NPD, this narcissistic personality disorder. So that is, in most cases, it's not 100% of the time, but I'm speaking in generalization here. Most of the time, it's because these people are they have such a weak and terrible self-perception that they focus all of their time and energy on getting the outside world to buy into this fake persona that they have constructed to protect themselves from all of this self-hatred that they ultimately have deep down inside. One of the things that narcissists do is projection. So as their child, you're their primary target, and they will project their self-hatred onto you. So you end up being their punching bag, their whipping boy or girl, which is insane because we were, like, all children are born beautiful, innocent, vulnerable in this world. Little babies, like, no one suspects that anyone is out to harm them, much less your own parent. But when you have a narcissist, that's why I think that it takes so long for us to come to the realization that it is, in fact, our parent that is sabotaging us, because it's just so incomprehensible. Like, how could anyone treat someone else this way? But, you know, how could anyone behave this way? But first of all, like, how could your own parent treat you this way? But you guys, it's real. It's been happening. It's been happening to me. I'm sure it's been happening to you, which is why you're watching. I'm so sorry. You have my heart, because this is some of the worst abuse, I think, out there. Because not only do they rip you down, strategically throughout your life, they degrade you from, infancy, since your parents are the first ones to have access to you, and you're vulnerable, you're a blank slate, and they just come in there with all of their negativity and tear you down. I've said this, ad nauseum, because it is absolutely a valid fact. Early childhood development is when we develop our self-confidence, our self-esteem. It is how we learn to view ourselves and to act in the outside world, how we interact with others, and how we view ourselves. So this is all established in early childhood, and when you have a narcissistic parent, they're just picking you apart from the jump. Right from the beginning, they are tearing you down. So they will absolutely sabotage you, is what I'm getting at. If you have, like, in my own life, I have had some incredible friends throughout my life, and I have had incredible opportunities, job opportunities, any relationships and stuff like that. My mom is the narcissist, and from what I just recently learned, my father is the inverted narcissist. He's always been the supporting role, always, defended her to the death. He will always side with her no matter what. It's because I realized, like, he has a dependent personality disorder, which is the same thing as an inverted narcissist. Those are people that have dependent personality disorders, kind of the same rationale, that they have such a poor self-perception, they have no self-worth, so they sidle up to the narcissist to carry them throughout life. Like, the narcissist is like, I'm going to take care of you and I'm going to take care of myself. We're just going to bulldoze the rest of the world, like, treat people poorly and put ourselves first because, we have terrible upbringing, childhood, or whatever the reason is. So my enabling father and toxic narcissistic mother, they're both very toxic. They've both been degradatory to me my entire life. They've always cut me down, always made me feel terrible. This is probably why you have an inferiority complex as well. Not only did they cut you down externally, they instilled this tragic and horrible self-perception within you. You don't even feel good about yourself because no one ever taught you to feel otherwise. All they've ever instilled within you is that you're bad, you're a troublemaker. I mean, I'm the black sheep as well. This is probably geared more towards black sheep. I mean, there's a lot of golden children out there that have been flipped to black sheep as well. But if you're the scapegoat or the black sheep, you absolutely resonate with this. I am confident, you've always been torn down. But a narcissistic parent feels the need to control everything. And as their child, you are their number one victim. They can absolutely control you because they're your parent. You come out and you depend on them, and they're in charge of your entire life, your entire world. Up until my children are 6 and 8 years old, and my 8-year-old daughter, I think she's kind of starting to develop some autonomy at this point. But, my husband and I say it all the time, I'm so grateful. But we are their world, and it's incredible, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing. And I'm honored. I know my husband is honored. Narcissistic parents don't feel this way. They feel that they are entitled. They feel that, we're indebted to them just because they gave birth to us. One time my narcissistic mother was having a narcissistic rage directed at me. And she actually said, I brought you into this world. And I was like, oh my goodness, now you're equating yourself to God? God made me. Maybe you were the vehicle of delivery, but clearly that's about it. She never was a mother in any sense of the word in terms of supporting me or nurturing me or any of that kind of stuff. So if you have an inferiority complex, this is why, you guys. It's because of our narcissistic parents. They intentionally did this, and they want to inhibit us from succeeding and doing well because they hate themselves, and they have a perception of the outside world, the outside world is evil and everyone is out to get them. And I've done a video on this as well. External locus of control. That is how the narcissist, handles blame and responsibility. Nothing is their fault. If they have an external locus of control, that means everything is everyone else's fault. They assume no responsibility for anything. Someone with an internal locus of control, such as ourselves, probably, we assume responsibility, we assume blame, and, appropriately, us probably to the extreme, we probably inappropriately accept blame for things. We accept blame for things that have nothing to do with us. But someone with a healthy internal locus of control knows how to manage their responsibility for things and their accountability for results based off of their actions. But a narcissist has an external locus of control. They blame everything on everyone else. The world has done them wrong, and they don't want you to succeed or do well because you would be upstaging them. And they cannot have that. Not from their child. They can't stand when anyone around them succeeds or achieves things that they never could. So miserable people want to see other people miserable. Think about it. Happy people genuinely want other people to be happy and to do well. But I've always said this about narcissists. Misery loves company. And that's what they try to do. And we're their number one victims because we are their children. One other thing I wanted to say about how they just... Okay, I have some examples. I have some examples of how my narcissistic mother, like, you guys, like, I've said this in my last video, I think, like, it doesn't matter how erroneous their claims are. Like, they could just be totally fabricating things about themselves to bolster their reputations or their false esteem, all that. So, like, my narcissistic mother, when I was little, she used to tell me, oh, I was a model. And I was like, oh, you're a little kid and you're like, oh my God, my mom's the greatest thing ever. She's so beautiful, the most beautiful girl in the world, blah, blah, blah. And as I got older, I learned she was not, in fact, a model by any means. She walked in a runway in the mall, like, back in the day, like, when I guess they used to do those kinds of things frequently, like, casually, like, not a big deal. But she associates herself with being a model based off of that instance. And because I was the perfect audience, I was an innocent little kid, and you always believe whatever your parents tell you. I was the perfect supply for her to, drop that on. Another thing she told me, like, oh, I was a teacher. No, the hell she wasn't, you guys. She was like a sub. And I would not, I always kind of questioned, like, as you get older, you put these pieces together. Like, as I got older, I was like, wait a minute, she was a teacher? What subject? What grade? Like, what are the deets? So my husband and I were talking. My husband was a substitute teacher at one point. He had a lot of odd jobs. He did, like, refereeing and stuff like that. But he was a substitute teacher as well. No certification, no qualifications, no degree to back it up. Just anybody apparently can be a substitute teacher. I don't know what the qualifications are in other states, but I'm in New Jersey, so this is, our deal. But I was talking about it with my husband recently, and I was like, she said she was a teacher, and, putting the pieces together, we were like, wait a minute, no, the heck she wasn't. But it's like she is so delusional that she tries to make these claims to, these grandiose claims to try to bolster, like, her character. It's crazy. But in the process, they'll always take you down. They will always take everyone down around them, because if I could push everyone else down, I look better, right? Like, that's their rationale. These twisted, wicked people. So if you're a child of a narcissist, you no doubt have an inferiority complex, and it's their fault. But we are bumped and we're bruised and we're blessed because we're getting over it, you guys. And identifying these issues and where they came from is everything. We can totally overcome it because we're awesome, and they knew that we were awesome, which is why we were targeted and why they tried so desperately to thwart our success and our achievements. So God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.